Welcome back to Picket Build. Let's finish the bodywork on these parts. Alright, let's get right into it. First thing we're going to do here is take some of this 180 grit sandpaper and set up one of our little Durablocks. I like using this round one for getting curved edges. And let's put that on there and sand on these fenders a little bit. Alright, so we're going to take this and we're just going to scuff on this epoxy just a little bit, just to kind of clean the surface up before we start our body filler. Alright, just after a few minutes of sanding, you can already start to see where the dark spots are, where the sanding is not, or it's not getting sanded, I mean. Definitely going to have to add some filler in those spots. Alright, let's go ahead and mix up some body filler. Here's what these fenders are looking like so far with body filler. You remember that little gouge that was in that fender? That's what it's taking worth of filler to get that out. A little thicker than I'd want to go, but I think we'll be okay. The only problem is you can see that little metal spots are exposed, and that's definitely high spots. And also that means we may have to re-epoxy. I didn't want to have to do that, but it is what it is. Now I'm painting these super jet black, and so if you guys are familiar with any kind of painting, black is the worst on showing any imperfections, and so I'm having to be extra nitpicky on my bodywork. Okay, so I'm feathering out these edges as best I can. Everything's starting to feel really smooth. Down here as well. Line feels clean. Alright, let's do a little more feathering and we should be ready for some primer. Alright, I've reached a point of satisfaction where I think everything is feeling pretty smooth. I'm not feeling any additional dents or imperfections, so we're going to epoxy this one more time and then go right over the top of that with high build primer. Not that it matters now, but here's the battery for the welding helmet. Finally came in after we don't need it. But it'll be ready for the next project. Alright, so we are at a stage of being able to put some more epoxy and some high build primer on these parts. I'm going to go ahead and scuff this backside of this hatch just to reopen up the pores on the epoxy. Same thing with the light buckets, and clean up all this stuff, and let's do some more painting. So I'm using a 3M Scotch-Brite scuff pad. It's equivalent to maybe 800 grit sandpaper, and I'm just going to go over everything that we're going to be high build priming and open up the pores again so it bonds well. Alright, let's continue. Once again, this is what we're using, Autobond Superfill. This is the activator that goes with it, and we are going to mix up a bunch. Alright, let's get that done. Again, this is a Devil Biss finish line, and we are going to set it up with a 1.8 tip for this high build primer. Alright, let's do that. We have high build primer! Alright. Everything is looking good. We've got layers of high build primer. Let's get the block sanding these and see if we got some laser lines. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some guide coat on there, and that way I can really see where we've sanded and where we haven't. Alright, now we've got some layers of guide coat on there. Let's sand again and see what's left. After block sanding a little while on these, you can see where I've sanded, I've got all the way back into the epoxy, but I think almost all of this edge is completely cleaned up. I'm pretty happy with that. We can cover that up with base coat. Alright, let's get to work on the rest of these panels. Alright, after sanding on this rear hatch, we have block sanded just about the entire thing, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm not seeing any imperfections. Alright, you can see right in here, that's just down to the epoxy, but that's fine. That'll get covered up by base coat. Alright, more sanding. And more sanding. We are this close to getting some paint on these parts. Just gotta hang in there a little longer. Appreciate you guys watching, and hopefully next time we'll have some paint on all these parts. Wow. Ah! That didn't work.